Good morning, everybody. I'm Bob Silverman, and as president of the American Foreign Service Association, it is my privilege to join with you in honoring the women and men of the foreign affairs community who have lost their lives in the line of duty overseas. Today, we remember them. This morning, we welcome many leaders from across the foreign affairs community. They include Deputy Secretary of State Heather Higginbottom, Administrator of the United States Agency for International Development, Rajiv Shah, Acting Director General of the Foreign Service, Hans Klem, Assistant Secretary for Diplomatic Security, Gregory Starr, Chief of Staff of the Peace Corps, Stacy Rhodes. Most importantly, we are joined by the family and the colleagues and friends of the Foreign Service officer whose memory we honor here today, Antoinette, Toni, Beaumont, Tomasek. This year, AFSA marks the 90th anniversary of its formation. Also in 1924, Congress passed the Rogers Act, the legislation which created the modern Foreign Service. Some 9 years later, to be exact, on March 3rd, 1933, Secretary of State Henry Stimson unveiled the first AFSA memorial plaque. The AFSA memorial stands at both ends of this lobby, and it reminds us daily of the dedication to service of the women and men who work courageously around the world. They advance America's interests and promote our values. They help individuals and communities overseas realize their potential. Toni Tomasek did all of these in her tours of duty in Indonesia and Haiti. As we go to work each day, we pass this memorial, and it reminds us of the profound sacrifice made by these heroes of the Foreign Service and of the sacrifices of their families. Over the past 80 years, AFSA has inscribed 244 Americans on these walls. And at today's ceremony, we recognize the 245th. Toni Tomasek proudly served her country, and her loss is deeply felt by the family, her friends and colleagues, and the entire foreign affairs community. To her family and friends, I express our deepest sympathies for your loss and our enduring gratitude for her service. You should know that though her life was cut short, Toni remains a shining example to all of us, and her dedication and her caring and her work is an inspiration for all of us. Each year on Foreign Affairs Day, we also place a wreath at another plaque across the way, located on the other side of the lobby, recognizing the sacrifices made by family members who accompany their spouse or parent overseas. AFSA established that memorial in the year 2000 in cooperation with the Association of the American Foreign Service Worldwide. There is another memorial plaque in this hall, and it honors the members of the former United States Information Agency who also fell in the line of duty overseas. Today, we proudly honor all those represented on these hallowed walls. I now ask that we stand as United States Armed Forces Color Guard presents the colors. Then please remain standing to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance and justice for all.
Right shoulder, out. Hold turn, march.
Please be seated. I will now read the message from the President. The White House, Washington, April 30th, 2014. I extend my warmest greetings to all of those observing Foreign Affairs Day 2014 at federal agencies and at our embassies, consulates, and missions around the world. At the Department of State, the U.S. Agency for International Development, Foreign Commercial Service, Foreign Agricultural Service, the Broadcasting Board of Governors, the Peace Corps, and hundreds of posts worldwide. Foreign service professionals like you tirelessly work in pursuit of the Americas' broad range of global objectives. Your efforts promote peace, advance human rights, and spur economic development throughout the world. Your willingness to take a stand for the hopes and needs of others reflects the best of our national character, and I am proud to join in saluting you. This Foreign Affairs Day, we pay solemn tribute to USAID Foreign Service Officer Antoinette Beaumont Tomasek, who passed away on June 29, 2013, due to injuries suffered in a car accident during her service in Haiti. Antoinette's name joins those of 244 other Foreign Service members on the memorial plaque, which forever commemorates their sacrifice to a grateful, indebted nation. I join Secretary John Kerry in honoring the memory of all Foreign Service members who have given their lives in service and inspired us by their remarkable example. And I extend my deepest thanks to all members of the Foreign Service and their families for their selfless commitment to making our world a better place. Barack Obama. It is now my pleasure to welcome USAID Administrator Rajiv Shah to the podium.
Good morning. Thank you, President Silverman, Deputy Secretary Higginbottom, Director General Clem, Father Moretti, Stacy Rhodes from the Peace Corps, so many others for joining us. We gather today not only with humility, respect, and sadness, but with profound appreciation as we also celebrate today Toni's amazing life and tremendous commitment to service. Our thoughts and prayers this morning are with Toni's family, her husband Adam, her vibrant, resilient children Alex and Amelie, her mother Marilyn, and members of her family who have gathered from around the country to be with us here today. Our thoughts are also with Toni's friends who live around the world, ensuring that Toni's spirit will continue to travel with each of you, touching new communities far and wide. Yesterday we held a service at USAID where we placed a tile on our memorial wall in Toni's honor, just as we are doing here at the State Department today. Towards the end of the day, long after the service had concluded, I walked past the wall on my way home and noticed a few of our folks standing quietly by the wreaths of flowers. They paused, reading each tile, taking inspiration from the names of our fallen colleagues who had died in service of a noble mission. We honor the sacrifices today of these diplomatic and development colleagues whose quiet, often unheralded work to save lives and advance human dignity represents the best of our American values and projects those values to the toughest corners of our planet. Toni was an extraordinary representative of their faith and their commitment. Her quest to end hunger, to ensure that children lead healthy, safe lives, strengthen our own peace and security here at home. Our mission at the Department of State, at USAID, and all of the Foreign Service agencies is to serve as the forward defense of our nation, to keep us safe and keep us prosperous by building a more just world. Those who knew Toni knew that she was an outstanding representative of this culture. As many of you know, Toni was a community health specialist with years of experience bringing life-saving services to those in great need, from migrant communities in the United States to rural families in Indonesia to young children in the outskirts of Port-au-Prince. No challenge was too big or too complex for Toni, but just in case things got tough, she kept a bowl of chocolates on her desk for her and her colleagues, a practice I've adopted from her example. She designed groundbreaking programs to work directly with local organizations and served as principal author of our new global health strategy to help ensure that no child dies unnecessarily in their youth. I never saw her without a smile on her face, one of her USAID friends remembered. Over the last several months, I have heard from Toni's colleagues around the world who wanted to share with me their memories of her compassion, her vitality, and her humanity. They spoke of her love of running and wellspring of energy as she competed in ultra-marathons from Asia to North America. Her friends spoke of her deep pride in Alex and Amelie and described how she would arrive at work in the morning brimming with news of their swim meets. And they spoke of her personal generosity, how Toni learned to knit so she could make handmade gifts for her friends, many of whom are here today. After Toni's death, her health team gathered in Haiti, first to grieve and then to discuss how they could best honor her legacy. They committed to redoubling their own efforts to accomplish Toni's work because they knew that's what she would have wanted. Our colleagues in Haiti are not alone in this regard. I recently had the privilege of sharing a little bit about Toni's uncommon dedication before a gathering of global leaders at our National Prayer Breakfast. And I saw firsthand how her spirit of commitment inspired people and leaders from all walks of life and all corners of the globe. In 2009, as a new USAID officer joining the Foreign Service, Toni wrote in her class handbook, "I want to be remembered as a passionate person who believed that we all can make a positive difference in the lives of others if we just give it a try." There is no doubt today that this is how we will always remember Toni. A beloved family member, a heroic USAID Foreign Service officer, and a cherished friend. Thank you.
I'm now pleased to welcome to the podium Deputy Secretary of State Heather Higginbottom.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Raj, for those remarks. And thank you to all of you for being here. Foreign Affairs Day is a day to honor the many Foreign Service professionals who advance America's interests and values through their work. And this ceremony is a poignant reminder that this vital work does not come without danger. The names on this plaque represent courageous women and men who volunteered to serve their country abroad. They volunteered to protect their fellow citizens, to strengthen our country, and to promote our values. They stood for peace, for prosperity, and for freedom, and they made the ultimate sacrifice. Each name on these memorial plaques represents a story of courage and sacrifice. These individuals did not think of themselves as heroes, but we do. We are proud of them, and we salute them. The first name memorialized here is William Palfrey. In 1780, Palfrey, who was an American diplomat, was lost at sea while serving his country. Many others since then have given their lives in service, lost to disease, to disasters, to accidents, and to war. We honor and remember them today. We also honor our Foreign Service colleagues who continue to make sacrifices in order to carry out the mission our government has asked of them, whether in Kabul or Cairo or Madrid or Manila. One of these heroic public servants lost her life last year in Haiti. Today we honor her, Antoinette, Toni, Beaumont, Tomasek. Today we pay tribute to a woman whose love of country, love of humanity, and love of service to others led her to devote herself to aiding the poor and needy around the globe, to saving lives, to giving hope. Her commitment to helping others inspires us. Today we also honor her family. Adam, Alex, Amelie, thank you for sharing Toni with us. Marilyn, thank you for giving the world such a wonderful daughter. Raj has told us much about Toni, and we all share his admiration for her dedication and her professionalism. Toni was remarkable and she was effective. As a first tour officer in Indonesia, she designed and developed the Community Empowerment of People Against Tuberculosis program. This program is now running all over Indonesia and serving thousands of the poor, a lasting legacy. From everything I've heard and everyone I've spoken with about her, it's clear that Toni had a positive impact on everyone she met and everyone she touched through her work. Though we mourn her loss today, she will live on in the lives that she touched, the friends that she made, and the service that she provided. When asked about Toni, her colleague Eric Davis said, "We work in an agency where people have usually chosen their job because they want to be a force for good in the world. But because of the nature of daily life and in bureaucracy, it's easy to forget why we are here. But Toni never lost track of why she was doing what she did. We will never lose track of it either. We will remember and miss her." Bob, will you please unveil the name of this year's honoree? Antoinette Beaumont Tomasek. I'd like to now ask Father Moretti to offer a prayer.
Thank you, Ambassador. Perhaps we could take just a moment to bow our heads as we remember our colleagues. God, our Heavenly Father, you have enabled us this morning to remember in a solemn way the remarkable contributions made by dedicated and professional members of the Foreign Affairs community. Their memory is an inspiration to their colleagues here and around the world who contribute daily to the ongoing work of dialogue and diplomacy. In a special way, we thank you for the life and the gift of Antoinette Tomasek and her family. Toni loved her service in the Peace Corps and later as a Foreign Service officer. She gladly labored long and hard to promote better health for the suffering and the bereft in Indonesia and in the Republic of Haiti. She gave little thought to her own needs, but instead demonstrated the highest dedication as a wife, mother, and a professional in the service to the United States of America. Toni's name, now etched in gold on green marble, shines as a public tribute to her selfless devotion. May seeing her name, along with the names of our fallen colleagues, always serve as a special blessing. May that same benediction encourage all of us to imitate the virtues of courage, compassion for those who mourn, conviction in the righteousness of our cause, and trust in your grace and favor. Recognizing that all our gifts of service come from you alone, We ask all of these things in your holy name. Amen. I would now like to invite our colleague from the Honor Guard to come forward to place the memorial wreath beside the name of Toni Tomasek.
Thank you, Father. Thanks for everyone for attending the memorial ceremony today. Thank you very much.